What's up, guys? Welcome to the HyperFast show. On this episode, I've got an amazing guest. He, at a very young age, has blown up on social media, started his own agency, has clients now that are professional athletes, has even worked with Gary Vee himself. Welcome to the show, Josh Ordonez. Welcome to the show today, Josh. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, dude. How are you? Nice to meet you.
Good, good. And why don't you let the listeners out there know, or viewers, for those on YouTube, where you are calling in from today?
Yeah, so I'm calling in from Riverside, California, about an hour out of LA.
All right, so we got both coasts covered today. I'm in Arlington, just outside of DC. I'm excited about what we're going to talk about today. Social media, for those who've been watching this show and some of the stuff we've been doing, I believe it's one of the greatest ways that anyone can get in front of more people, increase their business. I know Josh feels the same way or has similar beliefs, so we're going to explore that, how he's done it, and how anyone can use social media to grow their business. Before we jump into that, though, Josh, why don't you give people a little bit of background, tell them about yourself.
Yeah, so my name's Josh. I'm 23 years old. I have a love and passion for social media marketing. When I was about 20 years old, I was in college and was super eager to get just marketing experience while in a college for marketing. And so I ended up using this strategy by Gary Vee called How to Network on Instagram DM. And I basically was DMing people on Instagram, offered free value of some sort, and it ended up getting me social media opportunities with like NBA players, as well as I'd actually used the same strategy on Gary Vee, worked on him as well. And so now I've pretty much built so much brand equity as myself as a social media marketer that one of my biggest issues was constantly having people hit me up asking me to run their social media marketing, their ads, influencer marketing, whatever. So I have my own marketing agency and going hard on content, releasing some more YouTube videos, and yeah, sharing my journey. And I really just want to inspire people that there's a lot of negative stigma around these social platforms, and I think a lot is possible if you use them
Why
properly.
why do you think there's a negative stigma around it?
Yeah, I mean, so the documentary recently, the Social Network, or no, the Social Dilemma. Sorry, um, that movie came out. It kind of highlighted that the platforms were intentionally designed to be addictive, and I totally am aware of that, and I agree that there are some very addictive elements to social media. But I think just like much like everything in life, it's kind of like a yin and yang. There's a lot of negative if you want to look at it from the negative perspective, but I just want to serve as, hey, there's a lot of positive perspective, like, and it's only been tremendously more positive than negative in my life personally, and in the lives of like many influencers that I've worked with. Right, they went from having a regular job, they were making content on the side, and now all of a sudden their content pays them way more than their job has. And people don't know that. People think that, oh, he's just making content, or they're just making content, and they don't know the business behind the creator economy and how many various ways there are to monetize yourself in today's day and age. And it's the most practical as it's ever been now.
All right, let's dive into that. That's kind of interesting. We get a lot of real estate agents, real estate investors that watch this show, so let's not necessarily use them as an example, although I'm sure it would apply. If someone was really good at, let's say, selling cars, right?
Mhm.
Really successful car salesman. They start making content around car sales or their favorite cars or sales
Yeah.
techniques. How is that going to make them money potentially outside
Sure.
of, you know, if someone sees it and comes and buys a car. Because
Sure.
I think a lot of real estate agents think, yeah, if I get a house sale out of this, great. That's a $15,000, $20,000 commission, right? Big
Right.
numbers. But you know, how does it help people outside of like their core business?
Sure. So one thing that is pretty consistent among the creators I know, and the content creators that are full-time content creators, one thing that is pretty consistent across the board is they were making content for the audience and they almost didn't have a monetization plan because it's a long game, right? In order to grow a following, in order to grow like a significant, meaningful community and audience. So it's a long game. So in order for you to do the long game, you really need to be making content selfless, right? You need to be making content that does provide value. So for the sales example, right? This guy probably has really good sales, strategy, psychology, tactics. And a lot of the times people are like, you know what, I'm keeping that to myself, right? I'm not going to be sharing that. But if you make the content with the audience in mind first, right? Not trying to flex like, oh, I made 10 car sales today, like that's the whole content. No, really making content for someone and giving other people a reason to be watching you and something of value that they can take away from. And it's inevitable, right? Let's say you make something super valuable, right? One person shares it, two people share it, three people share it. It's a compound effect that and it's another thing that uh you really do need a love for the content around whatever you're making content around, right? And yeah, that allows you to make it consistent and keep it in the long-term game and eventually can lead to something meaningful.
Okay, so they build up the following. Um, how does it lead to monetization though
Sure,
later
sure. Yeah.
on?
So
Like,
so totally. So there are a lot of ways. Let's use YouTube, for example. And I could get into like pretty much all of them I know. So YouTube pays you AdSense, right? YouTube AdSense. Once you get like over 1,000 subs, YouTube will start paying you uh, a CPM, which is a cost per 1,000 views. And in the sales, business, finance niche, that CPM can be upwards of like $50 per 1,000 views, right? So if you have a video with 2,000 views, you just made $100, right? It doesn't sound too outlandish. Now let's say $100 once a day. Every day you're doing a video that reaches 2,000 views. This is giving you get like the highest CPM possible, right? But so that's one way, YouTube AdSense. Another way, um, sponsorships, right? Brands see you as an influencer that can help their product, their service, right? So they do brand deals. Next, affiliate links, right? So some affiliate links I personally use are just like my Robinhood account, my Coinbase account, right? Referring my friends that see me talking about investing, whatever. I refer them, and I get free stocks, free to like up to $10 of like Bitcoin every time they use it. And if you're reaching like a large amount of audience, there's definitely ways, right? Another thing too, the same monetization with YouTube ads, the same now is on Facebook. And this is another thing people don't really know about. Um, if you reach a lot of views on Facebook, you can monetize the same way that YouTube allows you to monetize, literally just by people watching your videos, right? Another way, offering a product or service. So the way I do it is like all the content I make, that's all content marketing for my social media marketing agency, right? I've got on a podcast, right? Pretty small audience. And I got a DM from someone saying, "Hey, I saw your podcast and I'd love to see if you could, run my social media. I want to see if I could afford your services." Right? That's another way. Have some sort of product or service. So it's not just like how can the content make me money? It's also how you're expanding your reach, right? And lastly, um, I think those are like the main ones. Oh, here's an example. Okay, so I just interviewed a TikToker, right? He's at Dominic on TikTok. He makes content around like science related content, kind of like Coke and Mentos type stuff, right? And there was this thing called Snapchat Spotlight. Have you heard of Snapchat Spotlight?
no.
Okay, so you've heard of Snapchat, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So Snapchat, and here's another little nugget. Vertical short form content has been exploding recently, right? With the rise of TikTok, we now see Instagram Reels trying to replicate that. YouTube has their own version of it called YouTube Shorts, which is 30-second vertical screen videos, or sorry, sub 60-second vertical screen videos. And so all of these platforms are copying TikTok, right? TikTok was the one that exploded it. And now all these platforms are trying to offer their own vertical screen format video. And so Snapchat offered one called Snapchat Spotlight. And they are giving away $1 million a day to whoever reaches the most amount of views. So it's split up between like, uh, they have like some way of splitting it up, but like basically in the day, it's split up between whoever gets the most amount of views, right? So Snapchat Spotlight was this new thing. It was kind of relevant about like in as early as like November, right, of last year. And so people were getting all their vertical screen format videos that they were posting on TikTok, and they started repurposing them on Snapchat. And so Snapchat was paying $1 million a day to all these creators spread across whoever was uh, using Snapchat Spotlight. It was an early adopter. And so one of my friends, Dominic, he made what in total $1 million from literally just from his videos ranking well and reaching a lot of viewers on Snapchat. So um, I guess basically if these platforms are incentivizing, users to continue making content on these platforms, um, there's something to be said about that. There's something that, maybe you don't think social media is for you. You don't think content's for you. Maybe this could be like a little, you know, newsflash. Like, hey, like this is only, I only see this as the beginning. Like this is only going to be even growing even more.
Yeah, now it's man, the competition for content on some platforms is so fierce that the platforms are actually paying people to put it on. So
Yeah.
that this is a really interesting case. Um, how was it like when you first started out? You mentioned this DMing
Yeah.
people things of value strategy. So I'm sure you're a young kid, early 20s. Uh, who were you DMing? What were
Yeah.
you offering, and how are you getting them to even take you seriously?
Yeah. So one of the first DMs that we did was so my dad, he's a computer software engineer, but on the side, he has this like passion for high-end video production. And so basically, we DM'd an announcer of the Big Baller Brand League. You've heard of Lonzo and LaMelo
Yeah.
Ball? Yeah. So we DM'd the announcer and we offered free um, video production for their league, right? And so I come home one day and my dad's on the phone with someone and he's like, "Oh, like are you going to LeVar's mansion now?" And I was like, "Wait, what's going on?" And so he's like, "Yo, we got a content gig with Big Baller Brand, right?" So we go out to the Citizens Bank Arena, which is where like the Lakers play on off season. And I was like 20, I was like a sophomore in high school or sophomore in college at the time. And so I just went to help out my dad. And while we were there, I was just holding a camera, holding up a script so Mela could read off of it and stuff. And the announcer of like uh, the director of business development of the league comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, your dad told me you study marketing." And I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Hey, I really liked what was on your Instagram story today." She's like, "We need this type of behind the scenes Instagram story footage as this league progresses. Do you want a social media internship?" And I was like, "Absolutely." Right. So that was kind of like the first thing. And then after that, I just like I slowly started to fall in love more and more with social media. And so like the DM to Gary, for example, I didn't DM Gary himself. What happened was Gary was live on an Instagram one day, and he was talking about empathy wines, and he was calling people who purchased empathy wines from him. So I was like, wow, I've never seen Gary give this type of direct access with around a product or service. I was like, maybe Gary really cares about this product. So during the live stream, Gary was just like, "Oh yeah, like me and my co-owner Nate, we love empathy wines, yada yada," right? And so that's all I picked up was Nate. So after the live stream, I go to Gary's following, I type in Nate, And sure enough, I find the co-owner of Empathy Wines. So that's the person I send a DM to, right? Like there's a strategic way. Like sending it to Gary would have been like it probably would have been gone forever. But Nate, on the other hand, right? He had like 2,000 followers, 3,000 followers. So I basically just shot him a DM. I looked at the wine page first to make sure that like it wasn't fantastic. Like I looked at it and I was like, yeah, there could be some work here. So I just shot him a DM. Was basically like, hey, um, I see you guys got this Empathy Wines going. I love what you guys are doing there. Um, I do social media marketing. Here are all the people I've worked with. Here's who I'm currently working with. Like, let me know if you guys need anything. And it resulted to getting connected. And yeah, I landed as same thing, social media, a job with Empathy Wines and VaynerMedia.
Wow, what a great story. And this all started from just DMing and
Yeah.
offering people something. What were you doing in those DMs to stand out? Because I'm sure a lot of
Yeah.
people,
Well, yeah. So for the
like that you're contacting and getting flooded with them.
sure. So with like the with Gary Vee, right? So what actually happened was he was like, yeah, like send me an email. So I sent him an email and I didn't get a response for like a week, right? And instead of just like following up kind of like blandly, like, hey, just following up, what I did was I was managing this artist called Kixerdamus. He's a professional shoe designer for like NBA players. So I was managing his social media during the time when I reached out to Gary. And what I did was I had a campaign with the Utah Jazz during the time, and I posted it on my social media. And I got that post and I put it onto my Instagram story. And when I put it on my Instagram story, I tagged Nate, the co-owner of Empathy Wines, in the story. And so it actually showed up in his inbox, right? And I hid the tag so that only Nate and I knew that he was in it, right? No one else knew, only Nate and I. And so it showed up in his inbox. And when it showed up in his inbox, I was like, hey, just tagging you in this to show you what I'm currently doing. If you guys still need social media help, like let me know, right? And his response was, call me. Sends me his phone number. I step out of class. I call him and he goes, hey, like when can you fly to New York and help us with social media? So that was one way to like strategically follow up, was like if you have some cool campaign, put it on your Instagram story, right? Show your client or show whoever you're reaching out to that, you're proud of that, and showing them that what you're currently up to is like, it worked.
Wow. Let's apply this to real estate agents, since we get a lot of realtors on this show, of course. What strategies do you think they should use that you've seen succeed in your area? What should they do in order to get more buyer and seller clients, people looking to buy or sell a home?
Yeah. So what should a real estate agent do to utilize the like Instagram DM networking thing to result in more sales?
Yeah, so it could be getting in front of homeowners, getting in front of people looking to buy, getting in front of people that can get them in front of potential home buyers and sellers.
Yeah, darn. So I mean, I'm not a real estate agent at all. Question, what is the number one sales strategy for a real estate agent, like kind of across the board?
Well, I think you've got to convince people that you can save them time, stress, or money throughout the process, right? There's really those three things when it comes to buying a house or selling a house, right? Can you help them do it quicker? Can you reduce the stress and uncertainty, and can you save them money?
Mm-hmm. What's like a practical, like tactical strategy that you guys use to like implement that?
So for buyers, for example, we're gonna try, and right now inventory is low. There's not a lot of homes for sale, so we're gonna try and find them homes off market so that they can, miss out on the bidding war. Go,
Oh,
that kind of thing. So
sure.
that's pretty big right now for buyers.
Sure. And
Uh,
then you go to the seller. Does the seller have like a specific type of person they want to sell to?
no, I mean for the seller, it's all about the money, the offer, the ease that you make it, right? The
Yeah.
less uncertainty there is, the better.
Sure. And then like I'm assuming full cash offers kind of just take priority.
Yeah, yeah, in this market, yeah.
Darn. Well, I mean,
But there's ways around it. Like if you go to if you find a seller off market and you can close in through 30 days or less without contingencies, that's for the most part, that's got a lot of the same characteristics of a cash offer. So you can, as a buyer, you can beat the cash offer without being a cash offer.
oh wow, you kind of have to like have a personal connection to the seller.
No. You got to get there before other people find out about it, right? So off market's going to be better. You got to have a good lender up front so that you can go to them and look, this person's pre-approved, the lender's ready to go, they can close
Sure.
in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. They
Sure.
don't need a financing contingency, don't need an appraisal contingency.
Sure. Yeah. So I mean, so in terms of the networking strategy, I'm not too sure there, but look what I just did right here. So basically, all of these questions, right? I had no idea about any of these things, right? Just yesterday, actually, I was reaching out to my real estate friends, and I wanted to know like how much do you need down to purchase a home, right? And he told me about the 3.5% new time a first time buyer, right?
Yeah, FHA loans,
Yeah.
3.5%.
Yeah. And I was like, dang, this is so useful. I had no idea that like I actually could like low-key afford a decent home right now, right? So all of these questions and stuff, who's gonna be the go-to guy that makes content around all this to clarify and to inform all these people, right? So not too sure on the Instagram strategy, but hey, look at all these questions I just had, right? Who's out there not who's out there that knows this stuff and should be making content around it, right? Super simple. Like you especially now, what TikTok has done is made the vertical screen short form content super popular, right? And all this whole conversation could have been done in one little Instagram reel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I would say is who's providing the most information, who's given the most answering the most questions,
Yeah. So from our conversation here and you being a marketing guy, but not necessarily knowing a ton about real estate,
Yeah.
it seems like just focusing on ways to deliver value and education on how the home buying process or selling process
Yeah,
might
absolutely.
work. So can you do this with, low down payments? You could do a reel on that, or even a
Yeah,
30-second TikTok, right? Which you could repurpose on
exactly.
Instagram.
Exactly.
What not to do before applying for a loan. Um, how to compete with cash offers if you don't have cash, right?
Yeah.
Like we've, how to find homes before the rest of the market knows about it. So all
Yeah.
of these, what to look for in a real estate agent, just put this free content out there. Um, and and your following will grow with people that are
Yeah.
interested in learning this, and
Yeah,
then
absolutely.
you're not being overly salesy in it, or
No, you're being informative.
right.
Yeah. So and like another thing, like the real estate. So I had to go to a friend who just purchased real estate and was like, hey, how did you get your mortgage lower, right? And he's like, oh, I didn't just do the 3.5%. I put 20% down of the down payment and that lowered my interest rate, right? And so like these were all things that I just discovered yesterday, right? And yeah, like if there was someone making content around that, I'm sure they're out there, but they haven't came on my radar yet. But yeah.
Yeah. So what else do you think are good practices for people on social media platforms? Obviously, providing valuable information. What about asking questions or trying to get people to engage back? What are some tips for that? You know, for getting people to respond.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it really is being selfless, right? Like it really just does come down to making the content for them, not making it for yourself, right? Um, what are your thoughts on real estate agents kind of and like the flex mentality, right? Do you think a real estate agent will do better if they show up to a listing with a nice car, a nice watch, or do you think they'll do better coming looking modest? What has been your experience around that?
Yeah, I think you gotta be yourself, but also play to the crowd. All right. I certainly don't think you need a super fancy car and you know custom suit to go get a $1 million, $2 million listing. You know,
Hmm.
I think both strategies can work. I think you have to be respectful of what it is you're doing, right? So there's a certain level of dress and decorum I would have. I think it's got to
Right.
be nice, but I think you should be authentically yourself, but tailored to your audience. And the other thing too is like if you're putting out an image that's not really you
Hmm.
in order to try to work with someone who will like that image, there's a chance that relationship's going to go bad because you're trying to win that business by being someone you're not,
Hmm.
right? So there's a
Right.
chance that that's not going to work uh, out, and there's also a pretty good chance that if you keep doing this over long term and you're not being yourself, like you're you're not going to um, be able to sustain that type of business long term because you're not being who you are.
Sure. Sure. And like, so what about this? Is there a gauge to tell how much ROI, let's say I buy a home today, is there a way to gauge how much that's going to be worth in 5 years?
Yeah, you can run models, run projections, use historical trends of appreciation. You can figure out you don't know how much it's going to appreciate. That's hard to map out, but you can make a guess on that. But
Hmm.
you will know two things. You'll know how much you're going to save on taxes because real estate provides you with tax write-offs, so you'll have a good estimate on that, and you'll have a good estimate on what the principal pay down is. Every month you're paying your mortgage, the principal is being reduced. So you can model out those two things. You can't necessarily model out the appreciation, but you
Hmm.
can you can you can estimate it though.
Sure. So like there you go. We just came up with two solid video ideas, right? One title could be um what you need to know before buying your first home, right? Second title could be depending on how you could gauge it, um how much you're or basically informing that purchasing a home is one of the most solid investments ever, right? Real estate can be one of the most solid investments ever. So like how much your home could be worth in 5 years if you purchase today, right? Like that's like another content thing that I think would would be very informative, right? Informing people, hey, this is a home, but it's also an investment, right? You can also turn this into a cash flowing asset, right?
What are the platforms you think people should be on right now?
Yeah. So never in the history of social media has all the platforms together copied one single platform, which is TikTok, right? So, what my answer is going to be is don't worry about the specific platform. Worry about what the platforms are pushing, which is vertical, full screen, short form content, right? So, what I would say is that that's your focus. Make vertical short form content, and now you have something that's totally contextual to TikTok Instagram Reels, Snapchat Spotlight, and you have the full screen content. You might as well throw that on Triller. Have you heard of Triller?
I think I have, but I don't think I've been on it, so I don't know what that is.
So you know about the Jake Paul fight and like the
Yeah.
yeah. So
Okay. So Triller is the paper. They're a pay-per-view,
yeah, so
right?
they
Okay.
they hosted the fight, but Triller themselves, they have like a TikTok competitor, like they kind of like are kind of TikTok's biggest competitor in a sense. But yeah, so that would be my answer to you is make the vertical short form content. You know, if you don't know how to make it, well, that's another thing. Try to make it as contextual as possible, which means putting the words up there, right? Putting the music and the audios up there, right? Another thing, go on TikTok about once a week and see what trends are trending on the search tab. So if you go to the search tab, TikTok will show you all of the hashtags that are trending for that week, right? Go and see if there's anything within your niche that you can make content around in that hashtag. Because if you make content around that hashtag, that means TikTok could potentially put your video in front of every TikTok user's app, right? The amount of organic reach that would provide alone is tremendous, right? Literally
So
everyone.
you just pick some of the trending hashtags on TikTok,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. So basically, look every week, and if a hashtag jumps out at you, oh, this hashtag is within my niche, I can make content around that with this, right? Add that hashtag to your caption, post it on TikTok, right? And yeah, have the videos pretty much. If you edit it for one of the platforms, you now have them ready for all of the vertical platforms. And like for example, um, Instagram Reels, they're basically trying to compete with TikTok, and so they're pushing the organic reach like more so than a photo currently, right? And
Right.
and yeah, TikTok really is the only platform that you can post with 0 followers, and you could reach upwards of like 100,000 people potentially, like if your video pops up, right? The only platform that offers that type of organic reach starting at 0. If you post on Instagram with 0 followers, you're gonna see 0 people. Like,
Yeah. No, I agree. You mentioned YouTube Shorts
yeah.
earlier. So because if vertical short form is what's popping, right, then that would be TikTok, Instagram, and Snapchat.
Yeah, so it's
That's just
TikTok.
that's I don't think that's really extremely important on Facebook and LinkedIn. I could be wrong on that, but I don't think short form, short stuff.
Not yet.
Yeah.
LinkedIn and Facebook haven't really adopted that yet.
What about YouTube though? I know they have the shorts thing, but is that really kind of working yet on YouTube or
Yeah,
something that you should be focused on?
yeah. So shorts do have more reach too. Same thing. YouTube's testing out how to put how to push it out, right? Get more viewers. So YouTube Shorts, that play there, that one won't be really for monetization because like okay, so if you post like a regular YouTube video, you can get monetized, right? And then YouTube has an incentive to continue sending people to your video if it's performing well because they make money from people watching your video, right? And then they give you a portion of the AdSense. So, but with YouTube Shorts, there's no monetization yet, but yes, you can reach a lot. Like it's the same thing. It's like equivalent to Instagram Reels, right? Posting out Instagram Reels, it's going to be the best type of engagement on Instagram. YouTube Shorts, yes, same thing. Best type of engagement for YouTube. Again, you won't be able to monetize off of these videos directly from YouTube, but you can be discovered. You can grow a following. You can get more subscribers.
And then the other one you said was Triller, just so
Yes.
people.
So in total, it is TikTok, like consider that the top, right? And then below that, Instagram Reels of importance, right? And these could be interchangeable. That I'll accept that being interchangeable, right? TikTok and Instagram Reels, and then YouTube Shorts, Snapchat Spotlight, and Triller at the very bottom. To be
And then
honest,
is Triller? I just looked it up now because I'm curious. But is it? It's got like the black square with the red kind of
yeah,
broken up circle in the
that's
middle.
Triller. Yeah.
And they're
So,
just really focusing, yeah, from how they advertise this app, that it's really like a video editor that you share. So
yeah,
perhaps it's similar to TikTok.
it's like almost exactly like TikTok. The user interface I think is a little weird, but you just downloaded it.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. Yeah, no, it really is. I'm not saying, hey, Triller is the next opportunity. I'm saying, look, Triller at this point, you see how much marketing they're doing around they hosted a whole Jake Paul fight hosted by Triller, right? Um,
Yeah, so
so
they got some money.
they do.
I
So,
think they did. I think they did the Tyson
yeah,
Roy Jones Jr. fight
exactly,
back in the
exactly.
last year, and I think Tyson was going to come out again and fight Holyfield, but they wanted it on Triller, but he wanted it on his own deal, so they
Yeah.
haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah, so it's basically like, hey, Triller right now, if they fix a couple things, if basically it's early real estate. It's potentially early real estate, right? Right now, Triller isn't the coolest app. It's not that doesn't have that many users, but that's the same thing that was what we would have been saying about TikTok. TikTok's not cool. There's not that many people on it. It's kind of weird. But if you would have kept going on TikTok, right, you would have definitely reaped the benefits
Well,
today.
you can still grow on it pretty fast because I've
Yeah.
had a TikTok account for over 2 years, and I would do like a post every now and then, and I didn't really focus on it, which was a mistake in terms of like having one specific type of content. Like I would do something about my real estate business, something about investing, something about uh, I'm an Iron Man, something about me on vacation,
Sure.
family, right?
Yeah.
Well, the last 45 days or so, and I think I had like 1,500 followers or so. The last 45 days, I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna try making like 4 to 8 pieces of content a day just about real estate investing and how to start.
Dang, nice.
And in 45 days, I've gone from like 1,500 followers to like over 120,000.
Wow. Wow. And
So
and what
I
type
th-
of
and
go
it's
ahead, go ahead.
just I'm just putting out educational stuff. Like
Around real estate?
here's how to do a flip. Here's how
Yep.
to do wholesaling. Here's how to do Airbnb arbitrage. Here's how to start with no money. If you have a little bit of money, here's what you should start out with. If you have more money, here's just different ways to start and do investing. And it's gone from like 1,500 to 120 something thousand
Yeah.
in
See,
about a month. You
there
can't
you
do
go.
that. You can't do that on like any other platform. There's no way.
N-
And I shouldn't say no
no.
way, but it's you hear a lot less of those types of stories on
Yeah.
the other platforms.
Yeah, sure. But that's the thing. So with the 120,000, right? I'm assuming you have your Instagram and your YouTube connected to it, right?
Those have grown. Those have grown now.
Yeah, there you go.
And they didn't, they didn't typically grow at a high rate. Now, my YouTube is kind of still small, under 1,000 people, but I'm gaining 5 to 10 subscribers a day right now. And
Have you tested out shorts?
before TikTok, I was probably gaining like 1 to 2 a day, right? So my growth rate is up like 5, 6, 700%. And
Yeah.
we've put out some YouTube shorts, or we'll repurpose some of my TikTok stuff. I think some people have figured out YouTube shorts and there's been some success stories with it, but it's certainly not like TikTok or like Instagram Reels even yet.
Yeah.
But maybe it will be.
So one thing too is I have heard, I don't have a proof around this, but I've heard that if you're repurposing TikToks with the TikTok watermark,
No,
that's like,
we'll use the same kind of content, but we'll have a raw upload, so
perfect.
it doesn't have the TikTok
Yeah.
watermark and other things in it.
Yeah. So on Snapchat, the guy who made my friend who made $1 million, that's like kind of one thing he said. He was like, remove all watermarks, make it so it kind of looks like it's an original piece of content for that app.
Yeah.
You just remove the watermarks, that kind of solves it.
Yeah, which there's some pretty cool download feed things for the people watching that you can use on to you copy the link, you can paste it in this third party app or website, and it downloads your TikTok without the watermark.
Yeah, I believe I have the name right here. 1 second.
It's just like TikTok downloader or something like that is what you
there you go. There's probably multiple, so it's probably just a Google away. Yeah, no, I have it in a voice message, so I'm not gonna play it right now. But yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people on the TikTok app that don't produce content, right? On Instagram, it's very easy to upload a photo of your mom and say Happy Mother's Day, right? Because that was yesterday, or whatever. Your kids playing. On TikTok, it's a little bit more effort to create something. It's not hard. It's the best video editor out there, I think, but it's just a little bit more of a hurdle than other platforms.
I'm gonna flip that on you. I think you have it in reverse. I think TikTok is the one that you should just be throwing whatever you want, whenever you want, casual videos. Instagram's the one that has to like, oh, it has to be tailored like the best post ever, like nice and polished post, right? So I'd say don't write yourself off before you even get out there, right? Let the market write yourself out, which means post it, right? And let the market decide, because you only know your own subjective opinion with your own by yourself, right? But when you let the market decide and you truly let it decide by posting, that's the real result, right?
No, I agree. I think we're saying talking different sides of the same coin. I'm saying the opportunities on TikTok, because it's a little harder to make a video than it is to just post a picture or do a tweet or right.
Oh, okay, got it.
So there's a lot of people on the TikTok platform that never make a video, but they're there looking, they're there consuming. So TikTok has more consumers than producers compared to the other platforms. That's why I think it's the best platform to go out and not have a lot of followers, but make a video that has 1 million views.
Yeah. So we are on the same page there.
So you should make a lot. You should make a lot of stuff on there and see what works.
Yeah, exactly. There's more consumers than there are producers of content, which means if you throw your piece of content within this massive batch of consumers, you have a high chance, right? And so in terms of like making it polished and stuff, TikTok, thankfully, I love that TikTok has the content on TikTok could be super casual. Like literally could just be someone recording their face. Like almost think of it like as an Instagram story, right? So soon I have an interview with this TikToker. He is in New York City. He has a deli in Brooklyn, and all his content is videos of him making sandwiches from his deli, right? Nothing crazy. He just puts his camera out, makes the videos. That's it, right? He has 1 million TikTok followers, right? Just from posting him making sandwiches. That's it. Nothing, no high production, literally just from the app. That's it. And so that's kind of like, yeah, like you never know. You have to let the market write you off before you do.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your time today. You've offered a lot of both inspiration and your story and how you've got connected to some heavy hitters through social media, as well as some great tactical and strategic things that people should implement. Before we wrap up, I always like doing a HyperFast round if you're ready for some rapid fire questions and answers.
Sure. Is it just one word or phrase or sentence? Or
no. You can use a couple words or sentence.
Okay.
Or,
cool.
What's your biggest piece of advice to a brand new real estate agent?
Oh, I have no idea. I'm not in real estate. I'd say, try to make content around it. Yeah. Try to make content around it.
All right. What's the biggest business challenge you've ever had, and how did you overcome it?
Yeah, I would say it was a psychological shift I had to make. Initially, pretty much all my goals, business goals, were all money oriented, and they are money being the biggest goal in them. So for me personally, I failed at every business when I was going into them for the purpose of money. So basically, money being the motivator was something that I really did not want to let go. I really wanted to chase money. That's all I wanted to do. And I let it go. And sure enough, like that's actually how I ended up making way more money. Right. And like my relationship to money now is like way different.
What's something you're doing in your business today that you weren't doing a year ago?
Um, well, I guess yeah, honestly, yeah, doing more content marketing. I've kind of basically all the leads that come from me do come from my social media, like literally my Instagram, specifically my Instagram. All my leads come from my Instagram, and I wasn't making any content, and was just posting casually on Instagram, right? And so now what I'm doing now is doing a lot more actual, like taking this seriously, posting YouTube video a week, a TikTok a week, an Instagram a week, a LinkedIn post a week, etc. So yeah, going a lot harder on content myself, not just for my clients. I'm kind of wanting to treat myself as my own social media marketing client, so I can expand and, continue showing what's possible.
All right. When you're not making content, working on your business, what would we find you doing for fun?
At the gym, and if not at the gym, watching something Marvel related.
All right. Last question. Where do you see yourself 10 years from now?
Um, yeah, I mean, I'll be having my own agency still, and hopefully, kind of the goal is, and it's kind of an experiment, is if I can, I'm getting all this money from my agency and my clients. I'm using all that money to reinvest now into content, right? And so if I can one day live off of just my content alone, the YouTube ads, you know, any brands that potentially sponsor me, affiliate links, and I no longer have to run clients for myself, that'll be the biggest goal, right? Wow, like I basically worked hard enough that the content surpassed the income from my clients, and now I don't need my clients, right? Now I don't need to be running ads for people. I could just be running ads for myself. And so basically getting all the client work to become my own client, my own biggest client alone, that's the ultimate goal. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Josh, so much for being on the show. Before we sign off here, if people want to learn more about what you do or connect with you, what are the best ways to do that?
Yeah, it's definitely on my Instagram. It's at Josh Ordonez, JoshOrdonez. Dan, thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you. It's been a blast. I appreciate it. For everyone watching or listening, make sure you give us some feedback. Let us know what you liked, what you didn't like. Share this with someone you think could benefit from seeing it, and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out. We'll see you next time.
Sounds good.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the HyperFast Show. Subscribe to us if you want to make sure you get the latest and greatest HyperFast shows. And remember, we love reviews. Reviews help us bring better and better guests and improve our shows. So give us the good, the bad, and the ugly. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we will see you next time.
Hey guys, thanks for sticking around to the end. I hope you enjoyed that video, and if you want to see more, click right here. And if you want 100 real estate tips from my best-selling book, click right here to download them instantly. And if you're new to this channel, click below to subscribe and turn on post notifications so you don't miss out. And leave some comments about what you think on the videos.